Yeah, looking forward to playing a game in Coleman. We've played better at Coleman than on the road this year, for sure. Baylor's one of the best teams in the country, defending national champs, third Final Four team from last year that we've played. We've tended to play a little better, the better our competition is. Hopefully that's the case here. I think we've had some good practices. We gave them day off on Wednesday, got after it yesterday, and then this morning just finished practice. But we got to be more consistent. We got to bring effort every time. If we don't against a team like Gonzaga, against Baylor, we get blown out. But I think our guys know that. I think we've had some good practices, and I'm looking forward to testing ourselves against the best again. And I think we've proven we can play with the best teams in the country, and that's what we're looking to do tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go and get started with Mike Rodak first.
And it does seem like there have been some good practices before, some of the previous games, but maybe it doesn't carry over into those games in terms of the effort and the energy. Just where's the disconnect there, and how do you get it to work?
That's a good question, because I did say that to my staff. Like, sometimes it's hard to predict with this team. You think we've had a couple good days, and then for whatever reason the game, we've had a couple team meetings. Some players met without the coaches. There's just I don't have all the answers. Shoot, if I had the answers, I'd fix it. I don't have those answers. I do think there's some of the, some guys admitted maybe we're playing the level of our competition. We don't play with a chip on our shoulder every game like we used to. Well, after we've lost the games that we've lost, I hope we have a chip on our shoulder every game from here on out, because we've got a lot to prove moving forward. It seems like that Gonzaga and Houston win, those two wins are a long time ago in the rearview mirror, and we need to get some quality wins here in late January, February, going into postseason.
Tony Tsoukalas, go ahead.
Nate, just a quick injury update on Juwan Gary and Darius Miles. How are they doing? Were they able to practice, and will they be available?
So Juwan practiced today. He, based on how everything goes, post-practice, he got bumped and whatever. And I guess we had a temporary mask and the one he's supposed to wear for the games coming tomorrow. So I anticipate him playing some type of limited role. Darius has not practiced since the games. The MRIs came back good. He hyperextended his knee. He's got a bone bruising there. So, he's got to get the bone healed up to where he can deal with the pain, but it's not going to be anything long-term. So hopefully we'll have better answers at some point next week. I'm not sure about the Auburn game, maybe possibly the Kentucky game, hopefully.
And with Juwan, just having him back, how much does that help, just not only on the court, but just kind of having that veteran presence in a game like this where you're trying to turn things around?
No, he definitely talks. He's about energy. We need guys that are about energy. We need everyday guys. He's an everyday guy. So, we've got him and Rojas both now. They both play that way. You can play them together. You're a little smaller with Juwan at the 4 and Rojas at the 5, but sometimes that's not the worst thing for us. We played a lot of small ball last year, and we're pretty good with it.
Michael Bronner, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Obviously having had a good bit of success against some really good teams this year and then stumbling against some teams you guys probably should have beaten, I think you'd agree. Does the approach change at all here with some really tough games coming up here, starting with Baylor, or does it kind of just stay the course?
Yeah, I mean, we want to stay the course in some regards, but you can't keep doing the same thing you've been doing. Now, the issue's been games like Baylor, we've been really good for. So, how much do you want to change? Because every big game we've had, we've seemed like we've stepped up and played pretty well. It's the other ones that have been the issues. So I do think there's a everyday consistency in practice that carries over to every game consistencies. I think we've had, for the most part, and again, I've said this before, but we had 2 good practices. We need to have great practices every day leading into every game. I do think our guys' heads are in a better spot. Some of the guys that struggled against Georgia realized they struggled, realized they didn't play well, that the seasons, and we only have 13 guaranteed games left. We've got one non-conference game in Baylor, 10 conference games, and I guess 12 guaranteed. You got the SEC game. I would venture to say we'd be in some type of postseason. So then you'd have the one SEC tournament, the one postseason you're guaranteed. That's it. So some of you guys, your season's getting close to the end here. We're at the end of January. We're almost in February. We're running out of time, and consistency is a big deal. And we need to see some more consistency out of everybody. So I think the realization's there with these guys. We need to see it now. Like, we can talk about it. We can have team meetings. We can hash stuff out. We can get it out. We can say what's on our mind. But we're going to really see it, when the games come up every day in practice, every possession of the game, and see how locked in we all are.
All right, we got 2 more questions in the queue, so we'll finish up with these 2. Let's start with Katie Wyndham first.
Coach, you kind of just hit on it, but what is the main thing you want to see out of your team tomorrow? Is it just that consistency that you were talking about, or is there something else that y'all talked about or worked on in practice that you're really hoping you see against Baylor?
Listen, it's more of a mental deal than anything. When we're mentally locked in, we're playing really hard. When we're playing really hard, the offense flows, defense is much better. So we need to see everybody mentally locked into every play. Now, how that looks, we're pressuring the ball, we're getting deflections, we're rebounding the ball at a high level on both ends of the floor, not just the offensive end of the floor. Offensively, we're locked in and taking care of the ball. We talk about effort and being blue collar. Some of that's, you can't let the last play determine your effort on the next play. And we've got some of that going on too, where you turn the ball over, you miss a shot, you get screwed in your mind on a call, and all of a sudden it affects your next 3 plays. Well, it's a complete lack of mental toughness, and we've shown that we've got a little bit of that. So we need to get a little more mentally tough, be able to play through a turnover, a missed shot, a perceived bad call, and just play with max effort, as locked in as you can possibly be on the next play on defense. Like, we've got to be able to switch from one play to the next without dwelling on the last play, much better than what we've been doing. So I thought it was better today in practice. We had guys blow an assignment and just keep playing hard. And that's the thing, too. We tried to, we talked to these guys a little bit. Like, Herb Jones is one of the best defenders in the NBA this year. Herb Jones made plenty of defensive mistakes last year. He just played hard through them. Like, there's no perfect game on either side of the ball. You're going to miss shots. You got to play through them. You're going to turn the ball over. You got to play through it. You're going to get beat on a blow by. It's hard. The game of basketball is hard on the defensive end. There's lots of action. You're going to screw up a switch. You're going to mess up an assignment. We want to eliminate as many of those mistakes as we can. But when you do make a mistake, if you're just playing hard and with effort, you can play through a lot of those mistakes. And that's where we got to really get better. Like, we're not letting good or bad the last play determine our effort on the next play.
Okay, let's finish up with Tony. Go ahead.
You mentioned you wanted to see a chip on your shoulder from your players for the rest of the season. Are they mad right now? Are they playing angry, and do they need to be? Is that something you've noticed, I guess?
I don't know if mad, angry, maybe is the correct word, but they better be out there with something to prove every day. And if they're not, then you got to question their competitive edge. I think they are. Based on what I saw in practice today and yesterday, they are. Now, we need to see it in every game. Like, you can't see it tomorrow because we lost the last game to Georgia and then not see it. No, we need to see it tomorrow. Then we need to see it in practice. Then we need to see it the next game, and then we need to see it in practice, and then the next game. So I think, if you let too much of your emotions get involved, you're mad and angry. I think there's some where you lose focus, but we definitely need to play with an edge, with a chip on our shoulder. Like, we have something to prove. Like, we got to rid the entire program of the complacency and the arrogance that seemed to have crept in based on maybe what we did last year and at the beginning of this year, which is not a good spot to be. So I think, losing to 0-6 Georgia may have humbled enough people in the program to get us to the point where we can play with an edge from now on. At least I hope so.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.